Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're dissecting the actual mechanics of wealth creation. Look, we've all felt the friction of the modern grind, right? That persistent illusion that if we just push a little bit harder, the financial floodgates will finally open. But today, we're going to explore why linear effort exclusively yields linear returns and how the true architects of wealth use asymmetry to completely decouple their time from their income. Now, here's a fun fact for you. Roughly 88% of millionaires today are self-made. And spoiler alert, they absolutely didn't get there by simply asking their boss for a few extra hours of overtime.
Think about it. If raw physical exertion actually dictated your net worth, the hardest manual laborers would literally rule the global economy. But they don't. Instead, wealth flows to leverage. Let's look at the missing piece here. The Greek mathematician Archimedes famously said, "Give me a lever long enough and I shall move the world." Well, the exact same applies to capital. It's not about the sheer volume or the intensity of your daily output. It's all about the structural leverage behind that output. Working yourself into the ground, that's a recipe for burnout for sure, not a blueprint for financial independence.
So, here is our roadmap for today. We're going to dismantle the hard work myth, decode skills in tech leverage, talk about building multiple income streams, master smart investing, and finally, lock in your step-by-step millionaire action plan.
All right, diving right into section 1, the hard work myth. It's time to unlearn to learn.
You know, there is a massive, profound difference between just being in motion and actually making progress. Hustle culture really loves to romanticize sleep deprivation, but frankly, exhaustion is not a viable business model. Being endlessly busy is really just a trap left over from the industrial age. Back when we were trained to be cogs, trading raw hours for a predictable yet permanently capped wage. True wealth absolutely requires shifting to a production mindset. In the modern economy, you are compensated for the magnitude of the problems you solve and the value you create, absolutely not the minutes you spent sitting at a desk. Here's the harsh reality. When your revenue model requires your physical presence, you immediately hit a mathematical brick wall. No matter how optimized your morning routine is or how high your hourly consulting rate climbs, you literally cannot work more than is humanly possible. Wealth is created the exact moment you sever that umbilical cord between your time and your earning capacity. If your income stops the minute you log off your computer, you don't really have a wealth engine. You just have a highly demanding job. Moving on to Section 2, Skills and Tech Leverage. Let's talk about breaking that time trap.
To actually break free, you need what we call asymmetrical skills. We're talking about things like sales, digital marketing, AI architecture, software development, and strategic content creation. What do these all have in common? Well, they have infinite scalability and zero marginal cost of reproduction. Think about it. A single piece of optimized code or a high-converting sales letter costs the exact same amount of time and energy to write, whether it reaches 10 people or 10 million people. These skills possess immense leverage because they allow your effort to duplicate itself infinitely without requiring any additional sweat equity from you. It's a real game changer.
Because look, we are officially living in the era of the million-dollar solo business. Through APIs, automated funnels, and sophisticated AI agents, a single individual sitting on a laptop in their living room can literally execute the logistical output that required an entire 50-person corporate team just a decade ago. Technology acts as a cloning mechanism. It takes your high-income skill and just runs it continuously in the background. It negotiates, it serves customers, it processes transactions. You build the machine once, and the whole shebang goes to work for you indefinitely.
Which brings us perfectly to Section 3, multiple streams of income. Diversify your revenue.
In structural engineering, a single point of failure is considered catastrophic, right? Well, it should be considered equally catastrophic in your personal finances. Relying on a single salary means you are precisely one corporate restructuring away from zero revenue. Yikes. By distributing your income, blending active high-income skills with passive dividends, digital product sales, and automated e-commerce, you build a totally anti-fragile financial ecosystem. When one stream temporarily dries up or takes a hit, the broader system easily absorbs the shock, keeping your wealth accumulation entirely uninterrupted.
All right, let's hit Section 4, Investing and Smart Networking. This is where we make money work for you.
Listen, it's not just about what you buy. It's all about the direction of your cash flow. Assets capture value and generate yield. Liabilities, they require constant capital injections just to be maintained. The middle class often falls into the trap of financing depreciating lifestyle markers, upgrading the car, inflating the lifestyle, while the wealthy quietly and aggressively acquire equity. You really want to shift your focus from just looking wealthy to actually building a structural foundation that prints cash whether you are awake or asleep.
Trying to linearly save your way to wealth is a losing battle against the persistent force of inflation. The true accelerator of extreme wealth is compounding. When you invest consistently, your capital transforms into your most relentless, dedicated employee. It doesn't sleep, it never asks for a vacation, and it never, ever gets sick. And the absolute best part? The returns it generates immediately begin generating their own returns. It might start slow, but eventually it hits a hockey stick curve of exponential growth that totally outpaces any active salary you could ever hope to earn.
And hey, wealth generation is rarely a solo sport. But smart networking isn't about awkwardly passing out business cards at some hotel conference. It's about proximity to advanced mental models. You want to surround yourself with architects of systems, people whose baseline of success forces you to elevate your own thinking. If your circle only discusses weekend plans, you'll optimize for the weekend. But if your circle discusses acquisition strategies and system leverage, you'll normalize massive goals and accelerate your own trajectory. Finally, Section 5, the Millionaire Action Plan. Let's map out this step-by-step roadmap. Okay, here is the exact blueprint in motion. Step 1, master a scalable, high-income skill. Step 2, monetize that skill aggressively to build your initial capital. Step 3, enclose that skill within a formalized business structure. Step 4, systematize and automate using tech so the business runs completely independent of your daily labor. And Step 5, siphon the profits from that automated system directly into compounding assets. It's an elegant, beautifully repeatable loop that shifts you from active labor straight to passive accumulation.
I absolutely love this quote. Millionaires don't simply work harder. They think differently, create systems, leverage technology, and make their money work for them. That right there is the fundamental paradigm shift. You must graduate from being a laborer in your own life to becoming the architect of your own systems. When you finally stop focusing on how many hours you can bill and start focusing on how many systems you can build, the entire financial landscape changes for you.
So I want to leave you with this final thought. What is your ultimate financial target? And honestly, what is the specific bottleneck currently keeping you from it? Look back at the 5 steps we just dissected today. Where is your system failing? Remember, acquiring this knowledge is merely the prerequisite. Execution is the actual currency of success. So stop trading your time and start building your leverage. Thank you so much for joining this explainer.